Hello, guys. Welcome to episode 14 of the When in Doubt podcast. As you can tell, things are a little bit different today. We are not in our normal places. Me and Noah are here actually in the same house that we normally record in. But Liam and Gavin, on the other hand, are currently across the
Losers.
U.S. No,
Oh,
no,
okay. Sorry.
no, they're
Sorry.
actually the cool kids. They're across the U.S. So in Florida, living it up. Yeah,
Yeah, Florida
that's
is the best. Spring
uh,
break.
spring break. They're enjoying it down there, and me and Noah are stuck here doing school and going to work. So things are
Yeah.
great. Episode 14 of
Okay.
episode
Cut.
14 of the podcast. Yeah.
We're gonna just speak.
Alright, guys, welcome back to the episode. Hopefully, the quality of the whole video and audio situation is all right because you guys, well, all the mean comments like to complain about it. But the funny part is it's probably even going to be worse this week.
That's funny.
So sorry about
We're
that.
doing this episode for the haters.
Yeah. So sorry about that, but hopefully you're still tuned in.
Sorry.
Yeah, hopefully you're still tuning in. We're excited to have everybody here, at least the four people that we do. And today we are going to talk about all the new movies coming out right now. There's a lot of movies coming out right now. The biggest one, which is obviously the first thing we want to talk about, is Dune Part 2, which, super cult following, books,
Super
now
what?
movies, cult. It's like a cult following. You ever heard of that?
Nope.
Or it's got like a big following of like people who like stand behind it. And I know they came from the
Okay.
books, and I saw the first movie. Haven't seen the second movie yet, but I know Liam has. Let's let
I
Liam
have.
take it away. Let's let Liam take it away.
All right. I will just say all the hype around this movie is real. It is genuinely. I'm not even kidding, and I've seen a lot of good movies. It is one of the best movies I've ever seen. Seeing it in theaters was like it was a whole experience. It was like watching Star Wars for the first time, but like it's
But
just insane.
Dune.
The first movie is great, but it feels more of a setup to the second movie because the second one just blows the first one out of the water.
Okay.
The characters are better, the story is better, the music is better, action scenes are better. Everything about Dune 2 is just a couple steps up from the first one. And I think the first one is incredible, but this is just that much better. Um, so if you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. I couldn't really recommend it enough. Um,
Yeah, because so wait, Liam, did you ever read the books or have you just seen the movies?
I've just seen the movies. I'm planning on reading the books after seeing the second movie. It makes me want to read them.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I was just gonna say, so I here I come with my hot takes. But I haven't seen the second movie yet. I really want to go see it because I know people are saying it's way better than the first movie, and I'm super excited to go see it. But I will admit, I don't know if this is just me. Have you seen Dune, the first one, or
I've
no?
seen the first one.
Okay, I don't know. I know Liam said he really liked it. I I guess just as me as someone who had like never really known what Dune was, like I went into the movie not knowing what to expect at all. Like the first movie, I had not watched a single trailer, nothing. All I knew was that Zendaya was one of the main characters in the movie. That's all I knew. And then I went into the movie, and Zendaya was in about the last 3 minutes of the first movie, and I was like, "What the heck is going on, bro?" Zendaya was in literally the only advertisements I did see was when I went to movies before it, like in the theaters, and I saw advertisements, and Zendaya was all over the advertisement. And then I go to the movie, and she's in the last 3 minutes, and I'm like,
yeah,
"What is going on?" And another thing I really hope this is true, and you're making it sound 100% true, is that the first movie is really setting up that big second
yeah,
movie. Because, like, yes, I do think the first movie maybe just wasn't for me. I don't know. I mean, I get it. It's for some people,
The
but
first movie was good. There was a lot of like if you want to say breaks, like
yeah,
there were a couple parts where there wasn't a bunch of action, which like not all movies have to have a bunch of action, but it definitely wasn't like a super awesome movie. It was decent, but I mean, if the second one is as good as Liam's saying, it's definitely gonna be a must watch this
yeah.
yeah,
next month or
Well,
so.
the first one needed to happen. Like whatever you're saying, like there's not as much happening,
Yeah.
which is true. There's not as much happening, but it's giving you all this context and all this build up to the
yeah.
second one.
Yeah, I understand. I
So
was gonna say, I really think that first movie, even without seeing the second movie yet, is probably really building up to that second movie, which is something that for a lot of movie series, especially when there's so much content. Like I know when you're trying to take books and make it into movies, there's so much content. Like for example, with the Harry Potter movies, it's like there is so much content um, in those books, and it's so hard to put in the movie form. Yet they still did such a good job. And for what they had with how much content I know is in the Dune books, it was impressive how they put it on screen. And I think the second part of it is going to be probably even better now with all the really the exciting chunk of the book and like the most exciting part is going to be on it. So
Also,
yeah,
Zendaya is playing a much bigger role in this
yeah,
movie. She's the second main character. She's in almost every scene. So if you have complaints about her not being in the first one
yeah.
or only being in for, sorry,
They just
Whoa.
died. um, I will admit something
There
I
we
did
go.
I do want to say about the first one though. Dude, the music was amazing. I mean, the beautiful like orchestra pieces. I mean, they're
It was
absolutely
good.
gorgeous.
It was
Yeah, I mean,
good.
it
I
is
mean,
really
Hans Zimmer never misses when it comes to composing music for a movie.
That's true.
Anytime you
yeah,
see his credit roll as the composer, you
yeah,
know it's
yeah.
going to
You know
be
it's gonna be
an
a banger.
amazing soundtrack.
Yeah,
What's kind of cool about Dune is like, okay, I don't know if this is the right word, but like it's kind of like, okay, is a soap opera like a soap opera is like a romance, right? Because I'm thinking of soap opera like high singing, like yodeling, right? And like it's
No.
not like yodeling, but there's like the lady going like ah,
no,
you know?
he's
You're confusing opera and soap opera. Those are
Yeah, so
two
that's what I'm saying.
completely
It's the soap opera is a
opera
completely
is
different thing.
singing. Soap opera is a genre of like TV show.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like the soap opera is like a routine more sort of thing, and like the other ones,
Well,
yeah.
like a routine of what?
I don't even know. It's like uh, I don't even know how to describe it.
Soap opera is like a overly dramatic, really crappily made TV show that old people watch. Like
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So wait, I do want to say one thing. Actually, this is kind of not wasn't on our movie list right here, but one thing I do want to say is that Harry Potter. Kind of talking about Harry Potter. They made the movies. Obviously, there's well, actually, there's 8 movies because the last movie was in 2 parts. But they're making a Harry Potter TV show. Do you guys know
I
that?
didn't know that.
Yeah. So they are making literally taking the entire like franchise, recasting the whole thing, all new parts, all new actors and
Dang.
making a TV show. Like they're hoping to do 7 seasons, 1 season for each book, an entire TV
7
series.
seasons?
Yes,
You
one
know,
season for each
you
book.
know what movies should do is they should make like I don't know what company would do this or what business. They should make like an official document of like every new show and movie that's coming out, and it's like an actual thing and not just like some random website or whatever.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
What?
I'm not gonna lie. I've
Liam,
never like been into Harry Potter that much.
I mean,
But you've never have you read
I've never
them?
watched any of them.
I only got into it because my last relationship she got me into it. I watched a few
That's
movies
fair.
and they were enjoyable. I liked them.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Uh,
I guess just because of the sheer number of books that there is, 7 different books, it's like that's a lot of reading, especially with how thick some of them get near the end of
did
the
you read all
series.
the books?
Yeah, I read all of them. So I've read all the books and seen all the movies, and I am a big fan. And also, I went to Harry Potter World, Universal Orlando, just a little bit ago, actually, a few months ago. So I'm pretty stoked about the TV show. What is going on? That's got to be timed. I could not. That had to be ripped off.
Literally did.
That's crazy.
Look at these absolute.
Okay,
queens.
okay, okay, off topic question. What's the movie where the guy gets his tongue ripped out? Like where he's like it's like some trap and he's like on a railroad or whatever and he's like sitting with his tongue and he has to like drop and get his tongue ripped out? What Because
What?
seeing Liam it's like reminded me of that. That's why I said it was off topic. Oh, it's
That-
Saw. It's the Saw movies. Never mind, continue.
Oh, okay.
I
sorry.
answered my own question.
Okay.
It's the Saw movies.
Continuing on past the. Okay, wait. One last thing about the Harry Potter movies, though. I'm guessing, Liam, you've seen them. Then, if you're saying what you're saying, I just think the hardest part of the movie, like, I think the idea of bringing that series to a TV show is such a good idea because of how much content was in those books, and being able to have that much content, even like have
Yeah.
more of it because that you couldn't
Like,
see in the
stretched
movies.
out.
Yeah,
So it could go. It for me. My thing with remakes is it could either be really good or just a huge flop because yes, it is a good idea to really flesh out the books because there is so much content, And it's hard to do that in a 2 to 3 hour movie, but it's a lot easier to do it in seasons. But when you're recasting and you're redoing this whole
Yeah.
story with how everything has been with doing remakes nowadays, it could really be a hit or a miss. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
hard to tell. So
I
who
think the
knows?
hardest part there is the casting. I mean, like finding
Yeah.
another Harry Potter, Hermione Granger, and Ron
I mean, like
Weasley. How do you do
those
that?
actors, like when you see them, it doesn't matter what movie they're playing. You're like, oh, that's Harry Potter.
Yes,
Oh,
that is
that's
exactly
Hermione
it.
Granger.
Yes.
Like they're
Yeah.
not gonna be able to redo that
They're
kind of
known for those roles.
Yeah.
name and face recognition
Do
in anything.
we know who's like directed? Is it a ghostwriter right now, or do we know who's
A who?
directing it? Like someone who's like, do we not know who's writing it yet or directing it? I don't even know.
Oh, the show?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's just been rumored that it's going to happen, but I
Okay.
don't think they've released any details outside of that. As
Yeah,
far
because
as
I know it's confirmed that it's going to happen. I just don't think we have any details about like directing or casting yet. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And do we know who's like producing it? Like who's?
I don't know. I wish we would have done more research for this.
Yeah.
But
We
I
just
don't.
came in blind.
Yeah, we came in blind. Off the top of my head, I do not. But all I know is that I'm excited for that show, and I think
Oh yeah.
it could absolutely be a banger, but it also could be bad. It just depends on how they get it done. So I'm really hoping they get that done.
Another thing about Harry Potter is the massive love triangles that went everywhere. It's crazy. There's like 25 of them every book.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Bro knows that even though that he hasn't even read the books or seen the movies, he already knows.
Me? I've read.
You have?
I've read all the books. I've seen all the movies.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Liam that hasn't.
No, that's Gavin that has it.
Oh yeah. No, you're right. It's Gavin. That's my bad.
Got it. Okay. All right, moving on. We ran through Dune now, and
Well, there's some movies that aren't on this list, like Inside Out 2, Shrek 4, Kung Fu Panda 4,
all those, dude.
and what's the other fourth one? Did I say Shrek 4?
Yeah, I don't know.
Shrek 4, Kung Fu Panda
Dude,
4.
okay, I'm about to say something crazy. I
what's
might
the other
get
one?
hate. I've never seen Shrek. Not a single one.
Oh!
Not a
Wait.
single one.
Wait, what?
What?
I've never seen
Hold
Shrek. The big green guy, never seen him.
Are you serious?
Yeah, being dead serious, never seen Shrek.
No way.
I'm a pretty big, like,
Okay. Stop the podcast. Go watch Shrek. It is a phenomenal film.
You've never seen Shrek.
I've never seen Shrek.
It is like legit, like
That is
top 3
wild.
animated movies. It could be number 1. I'm not
Top
kidding.
3 animated movies all time.
Okay, I don't know if I put it that high, but it is an
Shrek,
iconic.
I thought Shrek was just a joke. I just know it from all the memes.
It is a joke, but it's still a good movie.
No, it's a phenomenal movie. All the humor in it is fantastic.
It is really
everything
funny.
is so perfectly just like meshed together. Like,
Everything is so well like applied together, like everything just works. Is that like because
Yeah.
like I feel like
It's a good movie.
because I
It's
feel
not a
like
good movie. It's a fantastic movie.
yeah.
It is like I'm not even like joking around. Like memes aside, there's so many
Memes aside.
but as a standalone movie, it is one of the best animated movies.
Wow.
I will
All
die
right.
on that hill.
You will die on that hill. Liam is dying on the Shrek hill, baby.
I
that
am.
is an interesting hill to be dying on, but I respect it.
Yeah.
So apparently, dude, you know what hill I die on? That's also DreamWorks. How to Train Your Dragon. That
Oh,
it's
yes.
so good, bro. It's
And they
so
haven't
good.
released another movie
Did
in
you see
like
that they're
5
making,
years. It's so sad.
Did you see that they're
Do
making?
you have something on your chin there?
No.
No? All right.
Okay. Continue. Sorry.
Did you see that they're
Sorry.
making? Holy shit! I'm gonna call. Did you guys see that they're making a live action How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, that's good. though.
I'm
That's good.
excited for that because they're bringing in. It's the same director, so that means it's probably gonna be good.
It could be good.
Casting, I forgot who's. I think the dad is being cast as the dad. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
I know.
sure.
Yeah, I saw. And
Wait, the dad of who?
the dad of the main guy in the series.
Oh, okay.
They're all like they're getting a lot of the main guys, like the actual characters who voice the characters, to some of them
Yeah.
come and actually play the characters. What do we know the time frame on that yet? Is it coming? Do we know when that's coming out yet or no?
I think probably, if I had to guess, it'd probably be next year.
Next year? All right.
I would assume. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well,
What's the animated one just came out with like the ducks and the pigeons and whatever.
Oh,
Oh, Migration.
Migration.
Have you
yeah,
seen that one?
No,
That's a little bit
I've not
more
seen that.
childish, if you want to call it, but that was still
Have you
decent.
seen it?
I watched it when I was in Colorado with my family, so that one was all right. decent animated movie for the most part.
Yeah, I feel like some for animated movies, it's like for like at least like children's animated movies, some absolutely slap. Like
Oh
they're so good, and
yeah.
other ones I just watch and I sit through and I get to the end, I'm like, I will never get that time back ever.
Yeah.
You know
Do
what
you
I
have any
mean?
examples of good and bad ones?
Like Cars. I mean, dude, like come on.
Yeah.
Like you're telling me
Classic.
Cars is
His
just
Good
Instagram feed has been
memories.
full of like Cars edits.
Okay,
yeah,
well, like some of them just hit. Like, there's moments in the Cars movies where, like when McQueen is drifting around the corner, when like Doc Hudson's teaching him, and you just like put some hard music over it and slow it down. And
yeah.
I'm not even like I'm not. I will live on that proudly. That those are insane. The Cars movie is the top tier movie.
I would agree.
I 100% agree. Another movie that's a good example is Toy Story. I mean, Toy Story. I don't think
Yeah.
they did every single movie in that franchise was a banger. When I found out they were
Literally.
making a fourth one, which this was a while ago because the fourth one already came out, I was like, yikes. I don't know about doing a fourth one. Because I
And then
thought the first three were good.
they brought Bo back.
Yeah, but then
Oh,
I was like,
spoiler! They brought Bo back.
but then the fourth one, I went and watched it. I was like, dude, they did it again. It's a banger. It's a banger again.
I
Yeah.
hear a lot of people like don't like that movie that much, but I think it's actually like well done. But apparently they're making. I thought they didn't open it up to make a fifth one, but they're making a fifth one.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
the
that
big girl.
I think the reason people didn't like it a lot is was there's a big efflux between the change from third to the fourth movie. And I
Yeah.
think that like kind of it was just a different vibe in the whole.
What?
It was a different vibe in the whole that whole movie genre like kind of changed. I mean, it wasn't a whole change, but it was still Toy Story, but it was just a very different vibe from the first three. So I
Yeah.
think that's maybe why some people didn't like it, but I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Moving on. Past. I mean, I didn't even give an example of a bad animated movie that I've sat through and watched and be like, man, that was bad. Um,
Remember one movie my brother watched, and it was like this movie about a hot dog, and I'm not even joking. It was like about a hot dog, and it was like the awfulest. And I know it's not a word, but it doesn't even deserve a word. It was the awfulest movie I've ever seen.
all right, that's fair. I think if
Don't watch the movie about the hot dog.
if I had even
Is
bad
it called Sausage Party?
You what? No,
Is
it's
it
not.
called
No,
Sausage Party?
we watched this like years ago, dude.
not sausage party, bro. No way.
The movie.
Yeah,
When it comes to
no,
animated movies, I feel like you just have to respect the classics. Like the way that they used to be, like like we had Cars, we had Toy Story, movies like Wall-E, like those were the good movies. When it comes to
yes,
animated
Wally was a
movies,
ball.
but the animated movies have changed to the point where I feel like the animations are too animated, to the point where like I don't like the new animations. Like even like movies themselves are not that great compared to the classics, but even the animations I feel like have gotten worse just because they try to make it too hyper realistic.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think
Well,
yeah,
Interesting.
I think the principle of like animation has kind of changed over the years. Like initially, it was more like animation was specifically meant for like younger age groups, so they didn't worry about as much about like how it actually looked. They wanted it to look like children friendly almost. But now there's some movies like even a more recent Disney movie, Soul. I don't know if you guys ever saw that
Yeah.
movie,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
that movie is an animated movie. But honestly, like the whole like plot of the movie is not like really a children's plot. It's a pretty deep movie.
It's not like inappropriate, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like it's a lot to it's there's a lot there.
Yeah, it's a deeper movie, especially if like watching it as someone who's older, like watching some children's movies, like for example, like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I could see how a child like could get joy out of that, but at the same time, then I could also see like as someone older watching it, could see like the deeper meaning in that, and that kind of comes along with the animation style too. Like, I feel like as time has
Yeah.
gone on, they want to appeal to that older crowd, and they think they need to do that by like making it look hyper realistic. But sometimes
Yeah.
all even older like people who are watching movies, or even like college teenager, whatever it is, are still down for like just animation. I mean, that's what it is. It's an animated
well-
movie. We don't need to. If we want to watch something else, we can go watch a live action movie. I don't know.
Well, I think with the animation, I think everybody's trying to constantly like push the envelope of like what animation can be. So
Yeah.
every couple of years we get a movie that's sort of like, oh my gosh. Like for example, the animated Spider-Man
Yes.
movie, that started a whole new wave of movies that combined animation with like 2D
Yep.
cartoon animation. And ever since that movie came out, there's been a whole wave of movies that have been copying that exact style.
Yeah.
Obviously putting their own little spin or flair on it, but like that movie revolutionized a lot of animation now, and then a couple years down the road, we'll get another movie that's gonna, you know, blow things open again. So
Yeah, I was gonna say something like another movie that kind of reminds me of that was when I first saw the first trailers to Lightyear. The funny thing is that I've actually even never even seen that movie, but it's
Oh,
like
that's actually a good
it
movie.
was a story about Buzz Lightyear and how like he came to be or whatever. And I remember I watched the first trailer to Lightyear, and I'm not even kidding. For like the first 20 to 30 seconds of the trailer, they don't show a person. And I'm not even kidding. If you watch the first 20 to 30 seconds of the trailer, it's hard to tell if it's animated or not. That's like
right.
how hyper realistic that animation is. Obviously, once you see the characters, it's different, but I think it's also just crazy because you're going from Toy Story, which is a story about toys, so they're animated to look like toys. And then you watch the Lightyear movie, and it literally looks like hyper realistic people as Buzz
Right.
Lightyear. It's crazy.
Well, from my knowledge, I haven't seen the movie, but I think it's like supposed to be like the lore behind the story of Buzz Lightyear, not the actual toy,
Yeah,
but like, you know,
yeah. The
what the
story.
toy is about.
Yeah, what this toy. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's another example that would be like the whole like change to like uh Star Wars Clone Wars and then like Star Wars Rebels and now there's other Star like Bad Batch and then what was that Star Wars show Council not Council.
Craig Council.
No, not Craig Council. What's the I don't know. There was some kids show. It was a kids show. It was more like kid animated. It was directed at kids more. I never watched it, but it was like a Starfighter show or something. I don't really remember. But it's just all those different animation styles. It's like as time has gone on, people still respect like that Clone Wars animation style because of how cool it was. Like even that with the Bad Batch now, it's like they still are using that Clone Wars animation style back from
Yeah.
2000. When was Clone Wars released? I don't even know. Early
I
A
2000s.
think
while ago.
like 2008, I want to say.
Okay, maybe
Or
like yeah, 2008. I don't know. 2000.
They just have to resort back to the old animation. Like I'm not saying the new like the current animation is bad, but Gavin's right.
yeah,
It's just like
2008.
it doesn't really feel like an animated movie anymore.
All
I
right.
feel like another. Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
I feel like another really like not touching, but like something that was really amazing with the classic movies is the soundtracks. I've never seen soundtracks as good as those in like the movie Cars, the movie Toy Story. Like there's songs in there that I will still listen to just for fun. Like
Yeah.
You've Got a Friend in Me, Life is a Highway. Like those songs will
Thanks.
always be classics in my head. Those songs I will never be like I can never be sad listening to those songs.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Something that makes a movie is a soundtrack. I mean, like if you watch through a good movie with no good music, that movie might not be that good. And then you watch through a mid movie with crazy good soundtrack, and it's like all of a sudden
It's
you keep thinking about that movie because you want to go listen to the songs again. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
think it's
like the
interesting
Spider-Man
how
movie.
I think it's interesting how much. What?
Nothing. He just said.
I said like the Spider-Man movie, like the animated Spider-Man movie, like that soundtrack.
Yeah. Oh,
One of the greatest soundtracks
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, I thought you meant I thought you meant the only reason you'd watch the movie is the soundtrack.
No,
I was like,
no,
I
no,
just
no.
don't agree.
I'm saying you just said good soundtrack.
Yeah,
like
that is a
Spider-
good soundtrack. All right, sorry, Liam, continue.
But I think it's very interesting like how big of a role music plays in a lot of media and just like how it dictates how you're feeling.
Oh yeah.
Like if you're watching a movie and it there's some suspenseful music starts playing, you start getting nervous. You're like, oh shoot, what's about to happen? I'm actually gonna tie this back to Dune too, because there's been a couple scenes. There's one fight scene in particular where there was no music, so you didn't know how to feel. You were just watching the fight, so you didn't. Music wasn't really telling you where the fight was going. You know, if you're watching like a Marvel movie and they're playing like some classic rock and roll, you're like, all right, the superheroes are gonna kick the asses of the villains,
Yep.
handedly, right? Versus the villain is beating the other guy, and the music gets darker, and it's more suspenseful. But in Dune 2, there are certain scenes where they just didn't play music whatsoever, so you didn't know how to feel, and you're just watching the scene unfold. So just seeing how music can dictate how you're feeling during any given scene is I think is very interesting.
Yeah, it's any like you were saying, even the absence of music can do something. It's like normally you're being pushed one way or another, but without music, boom, it's gone. You don't know which way to lean. It's you don't know what's going to happen in the film, and sometimes that's what the directors want. They want you to be like, oh, I don't even know where what's going to happen here because there's no music to lead you any which way.
Yeah.
So,
This is
all
gonna
right.
go off a random tangent, but one of my favorite soundtracks. No one can prove me wrong, or prove this is my opinion. One of my favorite soundtracks is the Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Best sound,
Valid.
in my opinion, what I believe is the best soundtrack in any movie series that I've ever seen. Any movies, those songs always they just have a vibe to those songs. The vibe is with like throughout the movie, they match the vibe of the movie, and they're just great to listen to on their own.
I understand.
Yeah.
They just kidnap your heart, and it's like, man, you just want to keep listening to it. They just
Right.
they keep you coming back.
My one thing with that, like they are amazing, but it's not like original music. It's just
Yeah,
songs
that
that
is
they
true.
That is true.
picked up, which that is an art form in itself, is being able to pick the right music. And they really knocked it out of the park with that music because each volume is like a different era of music, and
Yeah,
they really encapsulate that. But then creating your own music, like original music for a movie, is like way different. But I do know what you mean with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, no, that is very true. It's not original music, but
It still gets the job done.
it does. Yeah.
All right. Well, I hate to be articulate right now. Wait, is that the right word? I don't know if that's the right word. But I have to go to work. I work in 15 minutes.
Oh, shoot. All right.
So it's all right. But so sorry
I
to
don't
leave
know
the
how long
pod.
we've been talking. We're probably about done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
that's
wrapping
fair.
it up. We've been on so many tangents about movies. I just want to touch on like one more movie, but
Yeah, go quick. Go quick.
okay. Well, I just want to say there's this new Spaceman movie
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
that came out recently. And I just know it was supposed to be good, and then all the reviews have been bad. So I haven't seen it, so I don't even really know exactly why I'm talking about it. Um, because I don't really know what I'm talking about. But I'm just saying, like, what I wanted to get on with this is saying that I feel like there's a lot of movies that come out where it's like, man, this is going to be a great movie. Like, this is so much hype. This is going to be a sick movie. And the movie comes out, and it's like, that wasn't that good.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
that happens more and more nowadays, where it's like media comes out, and it's the more and more hype it gets, even if it's a good-ish movie, but it's just not quite to that standard that we've seen in movies before. People are like, it's not as good as this movie because there's so many good movies
Yeah.
out there in the first place.
I agree. Well, I think it is a bit unfortunate when a movie like gets so much hype and there's so much hype built up that it's almost like there's this pressure for the people making the movie to
Yeah.
make it or live up to the hype. And if it doesn't, even if it barely like doesn't even touch the hype level, it's a disappointment, falls flat, not good.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Wait, I hate to cut you off. I do have to go.
Okay,
I really have
okay,
to go.
fine. No, have fun at work.
So I hate to cut the podcast off, but
Boy,
yeah,
I
you
need my
guys.
earbud.
Oh yeah, I'll give you the earbud and the hat.
Yeah, you can just throw it.
All
All right, see you, Noah.
Episode 14.
Episode 14.
Hey, go. I don't know if you can still hear me. Can they still hear me?
Yeah, they can
All
see
right.
me.
So thank you for 2,000 Instagram followers. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, this is good.
But let's keep getting some YouTube subscribers, and we get a live episode.
Yeah,
Because
that's true
awesome,
story. True
right?
story. Everybody subscribe and like. This is your ad break. We're not sponsored. But go like, subscribe, follow the TikTok, everything. Everything's in the description.
All right. See you later.
All right,
Don't
see you
go
now.
on YouTube.
Piggybacking off of what you said, Liam. Yeah, see you now. About a movie that had so much high expectations going into it was the newest Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland. The newest Spider-Man movie there. Something I think was super big about it is before that movie, obviously there was a bunch of rumors that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire were going to be in that movie. And I remember when I went to the movie, I was sitting next to like my grandpa, and my grandpa's like, well, let me tell you, if Tobey Maguire and Andrew, or no, maybe it was my grandpa. I'm going crazy. I don't even. It might have been my dad. I was sitting next to somebody, and they were like, if Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in this movie's gonna suck. And it's one of those situations where it's like that movie literally could have been one of the greatest, just Spider-Man movies, or not even just one of the greatest action superhero movies ever. But people wouldn't have liked it if there wasn't the two Spider-Mans in it, because there was so many expectations going into it that it was going to have these two Spider-Mans. And if you take that away, then all those fans that were coming to the theater thinking they're going to get this, and even if they get something that might even be better, people aren't going to like it. So
Right, and I think that is very unfortunate. Even with like anything when it comes to leaked rumors. So like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire being in that movie was a leaked rumor, and everybody was just hoping that they would be in the movie. And if they weren't, people are going to be severely disappointed.
yeah,
Same with music. People's music will get leaked, and then it gets actually released, and it doesn't live up to the leak.
Yeah.
It's just like it's a very unfortunate situation for the creators.
Yeah, especially with like TikTok and how music is now on that. A lot of
Yeah.
people are releasing parts of their song, like maybe a chorus or a certain verse or a bridge or whatever it is on TikTok, and then people are getting super hyped about, oh, this part of the song's so good, this song's gonna be so good, and then they release the rest of the song, and it's like, bro, there's only 15 seconds of the song that's good, and everything else is just meh.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
They it all just builds up to that little snippet, and
Yep.
then the rest is just like an afterthought.
I feel like this overhype kind of ties into like why sequels are never as good as the original. So think about it, when they release an original movie, there's not exactly a standard that they're expected to meet. They're like, okay, a new
Yeah.
movie, I'm excited to see it, but nobody's building up like an insane amount of hype yet. But then when they release this movie, it ends up being great, and they're like, okay, we'll do a sequel. Everyone has a super high standard
Yeah.
already, and because they've seen the classic, they've seen how good it is. And that's why sequels. I don't know, like finding a sequel that's better than the original is very hard to find. Just
Dune 2.
because people like
Godfather,
There's only-
Godfather,
I think there's
Godfather
only a
2.
couple examples where the sequel is either as good or better.
Yep.
Like Dune 2 is better than the original. Empire Strikes Back, probably better than New Hope. We
Yep.
talked about this last episode.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, that's like on par with the first one. Like
Yep.
there's only a couple instances where the sequels after the first one are better or as good. And yeah, you're right. Like they're coming out with like a new Moana, and that's probably not going to be nearly as good as the first
Yeah.
one.
It just happens with every time. Like specifically, what I think of is like Pixar movies, Disney movies. When they release a movie, they try to follow it up with something. So like Inside Out and Inside Out 2, Moana and Moana 2, Frozen
Yeah.
and Frozen 2. I will take the classic any day before I watch the second version.
Yeah.
Or second movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say something about that as well as making a movie that is based around music, like especially like a lot of these like not Disney princess movies. I mean, some of them I guess you consider that, but even the other movies like I don't know. I'm just gonna use Frozen as an example, just to throw it out there, just because it's a good example. But movies where literally the soundtrack is nominated for so many awards, like even if it's not your type of music, like I'm not saying I'm the largest Frozen fan, I'm not, but I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. Some of the Frozen music is bangers, and that's just because of how talented all the people writing that music are. Even if it's not, exactly directed at my, I'm not the demographic they're going for. But I mean, the music is good because it's literally getting nominated along with other huge name artists because that's how good the music is. And then having Frozen 2 come out and trying to strike thunder twice, with trying to get struck by lightning twice, and coming out with music that's supposed to be just as good as the first one, that is even 10 times harder, I would say, than making a good second movie that doesn't have to deal with making music songs as long with it.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Yeah, it is harder to catch lightning in a bottle the second time around.
Yep.
There are some movies that are just phenomenal, and the second one just can't live up to that first one, whether that's the music or even with music, somebody releases an album, a debut album, and it's incredible, and then people are excited for the guy or girl or the band to release that second one, and when it comes out, it's just
Not as good.
they can't replicate that magic that they produced before. Only some people can do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I guess the entire theme of this whole episode has been, besides the fact that we've been talking about movies, it is really hard to make something so good, especially if it's not expected at the start, to make it as good as you really the first one, the second time around. I mean, it's something that is done such a small percentage amount of the time. I'd really like to see. I'm sure you could find somewhere on the internet a list of movies that were rated. The second movie was rated higher than the first movie. Not even kidding. I'm sure that list is probably less than 50 titles long because that's how little amount of movies there are that are better than the first one. Realistically speaking, off the top of my head. So yeah, it's crazy. The movie industry is tough, and even with good movies coming out every day, there's a lot of good single standoff movies. And honestly, I feel like that's the reason why, for a lot of movies, when a good single movie comes out, why directors and people are so hesitant to make a second one because they know how hard it is to get that same type of hype. Like with a movie like Oppenheimer, I mean, I know there's really no way you can make a second Oppenheimer because they told the story of that movie. But if everybody loved the movie, it's so critically acclaimed. And if somebody was like, I'm sure if there was more story to tell, people would be like, dude, we want the rest of the story. Like, oh, come on, give us more. But I'm sure the directors would be like hesitant considering how well the first movie did, trying to do that
Right.
again.
Right. Correct. Yeah. Well, it's a little bit different when it's like historical
Oh yeah, yeah,
like events. Like Oppenheimer was just all about building the atomic bomb, and that was just a one-time thing.
yeah,
And you
yeah,
can't really. There's not much after that. But when it's like a movie on
yeah,
a book series, then people expect more to come from that.
yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Well, we'll head and wrap it up. One thing I do want to say, I'm surprised you guys didn't notice. You guys definitely made some weird faces. And Noah had this idea because he saw it on a different podcast that he listens to. And it was funny because now if you go back and watch this episode, you'll probably notice me and Noah were throwing some random words at you guys. Like, so random. And the reason why is because Noah saw this idea on a podcast where we have a random word generator here on our left, and we've been generating random words, and we've been going back and forth trying to use the random words throughout the whole episode.
Well, actually, I was wondering because I was like, where did Hayden's never used a word like that? Like, is he be like setting up on his like dictionary? Like, what's going on? Because I forgot what word he used, but I'm like, that actually
Yeah.
sounds really good.
Yeah, no, I'm not even kidding. I was throwing it like Noah had to mention my chin, so he like was like, "Do you got something on your chin?" And then I had to use the word ghostwriter, so I had to like be like, "Oh, is it like? Do we know?" And there's so many. I'll have to send them to you guys, and you can
so
see the
funny.
episode. But if you guys watch the episode and you want to go in the comments, a fun game for you to play is me and Noah were saying words that we would normally wouldn't say, so you can go try to find them and comment down below what you think they were. But besides that, that is episode 14 in the books. I'm starting to lose track of what episode we're on. It's pretty crazy that we're already on episode 14. But I want to thank you guys for all the support on all the social medias. Lots of followers, lots of everything. You guys are amazing, especially people who actually support us and don't hate on us. Make sure to like, subscribe, notifications on, all the stuff. Check us out on, what are we all on now? Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. We're soon going to be on Apple Podcasts. I'm working on that. And maybe Twitter sometime or X sometime soon. I'm trying to work on that too. So, but go follow the stuff we have now. And thank you all for showing up to the podcast. Have a great week.
Thank you guys.
Peace out. Peace out.